Hi Virgo, this is Rebecca from Being Human Tarot. I'm here with your July 2018 forecast, which is a 5-card spread consisting of where you are right now, your tasks for the month, your challenges slash difficulties, your strengths, and your ultimate goal for the month. So we will get right into it. Where you are right now is the moon. So let's see if I can focus that. The moon is quite an interesting card. The moon can really be associated with fear and kind of like the darkness and the unknown that's going on at night. And so as a place of where you are this month, you might not be feeling the most certain. You might be feeling a little less confident than usual. Maybe there are just some things in your life that you don't have answers on. There are things that you'd like to know, or maybe there are tasks and goals you have for yourself, but you're a little bit nervous about what it means to get those done and if you can do it. You're self-doubting a bit this month. And it's still as kind of like mentally anxiety ridden as the moon can be. I actually feel like it can also illuminate things in different ways. So you could also be seeing something in a new light that you just hadn't noticed before. So it's all about perceptions of yourself, perceptions of other people, perceptions of situations that are just that are happening in kind of a different way than usual. And they're not happening with absolute clarity, right? Like they don't have the sunshine and like that kind of light clarity that the sun has, or even the star has. A bit more of a hopeful aspect, whereas the moon is there's a bit of a mental blockage, I want to say, this month for you as you start this month and as you're trying to make sense of the different things that are happening in your life. For your task this month, we have Judgment, which it's a good task, I think, for Virgos who can, be very judgy. Not always, but many can. And it really just does feel like a calling to, and also as a major, and the moon was a major too. So there's a bit more happening this month than maybe previous months, where there's confusion in where you kind of currently are, and then your task though is to not be a harsh judge of those things, both of your own self, which Virgos can do a ton because Virgos are very self-critical, but also judgment of other people, of maybe whatever these confusing situations are, and however they're taking place. Maybe there's some strange things going on at work. There's some relationship dynamics that you don't really understand and they're making you anxious. But the cards are really calling you to not judge that too harshly, not jump to conclusions and overanalyze what might be happening there, because we can get so in our minds about what we think and what we fear that we're not always being the most unbiased bystanders of our own selves. So it's also could be, aside from the not jumping to conclusions and judging certain situations or people harshly, but to also though trust I know it sounds like a little bit of a contradiction to be like, don't judge things so harshly, but trust your judgment. But I think there are some things when we just have gut instincts. So your task is also to, when you are in this kind of like self-doubting state and you have sort of a gut instinct about something, trust yourself. Trust yourself. Because so much of that is right, and you don't want to just keep guessing. The moon is like, are we, aren't we? Who knows? Is it like this? Is it the worst thing possible? And it's good to stay level-headed as much as possible in those kinds of situations. And while we don't want to judge other people and things like so harshly, if there is something that's standing out to us as, you know, not being okay, as not being fair, for just to keep going with like the work example, if you see someone being treated poorly at work, trust your judgment there. Stand up for them, say something. It's not easy. It can be a really hard task. So for your difficulties, you have the 8 of Pentacles. Which I guess I'm just kind of, and I'm sorry, I'm sure I still, no matter what, can't seem to hold these cards in the right position in relation to this camera, so I hope that you're able to see it focused at some point in its entirety. But I guess for some reason I'm really getting work out of this reading, even though the moon and judgment really don't necessarily have that specific element like inherently linked in it. The Pentacles do though, and the 8 of Pentacles in the position of your difficulties, so it's this hardworking guy, right? Working away at making his pentacles, making his life for himself so he can provide for himself. But with this as a difficulty, it seems like work is going to be a struggle this month, and it's not necessarily that it's not a struggle in like a practical struggle, like I don't see it as you not being able to physically do the work. It's more of a mental blockage, right? Like with the moon, there are other elements just internally going on that are making you work hard this month. And so you may have to try extra hard to focus, whether that's taking maybe a few more frequent breaks just to ground yourself a bit. I mentioned in another reading this month that doing really brief meditations can be good. Sorry. I've already, so I'm also a Virgo, and maybe my mental clarity during this reading is not the sharpest, even though we're only on the cusp of July still, but I digress. So yeah, I don't think it's that you're not good at your work. You are. It's just that there's some kind of blockage, there's some kind of hindrance. Your thoughts are elsewhere this month, and so you're really just going to have to try to find ways to stay on task and to get the work done that you know you need to get done. So to finish that earlier thought about meditation, there are tons of guided meditations online that you can find that are just like a couple minutes if you can step away from a job, even just like in the bathroom if you don't have like a place to go, just close your eyes for a second and take a break, and sometimes that can make so much of a difference in getting back to work and feeling a little bit more clear-headed. Oh, and if you can see, there's some smoke. Everything's okay in my apartment. I'm just burning some incense. So in the position of your strengths, you have the Devil. which is an interesting strength. I think that what it's really saying here is that regardless of sort of these, because there's a lot of muddiness. I feel like there's a lot of mental muddiness this month with the moon being a little bit unfocused at work, perhaps. Judgment is a good task. That's a good task for getting back on track. But also as a strength, none of these hindrances are going to lead to any like crazy excess. Like even if you're feeling insecure and wanting to kind of to get away from stuff, like maybe it's not so much that it's not like you're going to turn to drinking, to excess drinking because you're feeling stressed out at work and you're feeling like you're doubting things and you're doubting yourself and you're having some anxiety overall. The devil as a strength means that you still have like main control of yourself in a way where you shouldn't worry about things getting very off track in a super negative way, because that's just not going to happen. And then finally, for your goal for the month, you have another Pentacles card. You have the Seven of Pentacles, which has actually come up in several readings this month. So, and as your goal, I mean, this guy's stressed out, right? So you have the hard-working Pentacle guy as your difficulty. So there's the challenge of getting through stuff and just getting through the day-to-day. But then with the Seven of Pentacles as your goal, it's kind of like, I mean, it's very similar in that it's getting through the day-to-day and then like ultimately finishing everything that you need to do. That's your goal this month, to get through it. To get through it despite like the obstacles that you're going to face, and how hard and blocked you might feel. You need to still get the work done and plow through it, even if it doesn't feel good, even if it's challenging, even if there are sort of like strange things going on that you have to be the good guy about, even if you have to kind of like break up situations and say, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right to me. I have something to say about that. So, and also, I mean, maybe your goal is, aside from just getting through all the work, maybe your goal is vacation, you know, Virgo. After this month, it's going to be August. It's going to be the last, well, I guess technically September is still part of summer up to a certain point, but we don't tend to think of it as that summer. We tend to think of it more of fall. So maybe a good idea for August is to go on vacation. To give yourself a break from this. Give yourself a break from the intense energy of the moon, from you feeling like you have to take these stands and just get through all the work that you need to get through in both of these situations. Luckily, you're not fighting the devil. You've got the devil on lock. But I really could see your goal at the end of the month being taking a break, looking back on everything you've done, and sort of the taxing mental state you've been putting yourself through in July, and maybe just try to take some time for yourself in August. Oh, sorry, I'm a bit of a verbal mess for this reading, so I hope that it's been clear enough. And I've been doing several back-to-back, and so I have to confess that I'm a little fried. But if you liked that reading, please give it a like and a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. And once you subscribe to the channel, there's actually a bell icon next to subscribe. And if you hit that, then you'll be automatically told as soon as we upload the next round of forecast videos for the next month. And we upload those before the 1st of every month so that you'll have them in time to get a full glance of what's to come for you. Okay, thank you, Virgo, and I will now pause this and then pan to the full reading so that you can see what it actually looks like laid out. Okay, bye, Virgo. So here you can see the full reading, the moon, judgment, 8 of Pentacles, Devil, 7 of Pentacles. Thanks for tuning in. See you next month, Virgo.